Make sure y'all are watching Ascending with April Silver every Saturday. It is super dope. She's a great host. It brings so much experience in this business of publicity, marketing, uh, grassroots activism, organizing, teaching. She's so dope, so fire. Yeah, her Rolodex is strong, so the guests are great. I'm so happy that she's on the channel, and I just want to make sure y'all are checking out Ascending on Saturday morning. So just wanted to add that.
Ekaro, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ascending. I am your host, April R. Silver. It is the last Saturday, last Saturday of May 2026. I don't know how we got here so fast, but whatever. Welcome. We're going to have an amazing show. I want to say to our loyal members, you already know that. To our loyal audience members, you already know that. We want everybody to tell their people, to tell their family and friends to tune in. You are watching Ascending. Again, I'm your host, April R. Silver, and we are on the Mark Lamont Hill Network. If you're watching on Twitter, welcome. Your eyeballs are welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're watching anywhere but YouTube, we want you to come on over to YouTube. And when you do, tell us from where you are ascending. Put in the live chat. Put in the comments if you're watching this, the replay later. Tell us the city, the town, the country, the hemisphere. We always like to hear, and we get excited when people tell us that they're watching from all over the world. Family, I want to let you know that what we have coming up in just a couple of moments is original episode number 64. We have Lisane Basquiat is our featured guest. She's going to talk to us about art, mindfulness, and the legacy of Jean-Michel Basquiat. And you know what? We're going to talk about the pronunciation of that last name. I've heard it like over the years, 50 million ways. But we have none other than Lisane Basquiat, who's going to be with us in just a moment. So buckle up. This is going to be a robust conversation. Remember to tell your family and friends where to be this morning. And I want to let you know that in June, because this is the last weekend of May 2026, what we have coming up for June 2026 is a program on Black music. Because June is Black Music Month, we have a program on Father's Day. That's the annual, was now going to be our annual Be a Father to Your Child conversation. We are also going to have a conversation about HBCUs, other collegiate sports, and the NIL, which is, what is that? What is NIL?
Name,
The
image,
name, image,
likeness.
and likeness. Yes, thank you. NIL stands for a thing, and it is a thing now, but there's some controversy. So we're going to talk about all of that, and we're going to talk about women in hip hop, particularly. So we're really excited. So buckle up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like and comment and tell everybody about it. Speaking of good things to talk about, I want to say a good, hearty shout out to the Mark Lamont Hill Network team and my team, Drake, Aaron, Kevin, Sandy, Dwayne, and Daryl. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, as you all can imagine, what we do here at Ascending every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. So we're really, really excited. We want to remind you once again to support this work, this Black media, this independent channel. One way to do that is to go to patreon.com / Mark Lamont Hill official on Patreon and become a member. You get exclusive content, you get early content, you get extended content about what Mark is doing. You're becoming a member there also supports Ascending, just so we can keep everything afloat. So definitely tell your people to do so too. And if you can't become a member, you can just subscribe to this channel. No pressure. Do what you can. It's really, really important. We are going to jump into bookmark our weekly love affair with books is manifesting this day on Jean-Michel Basquiat King Pleasure Exhibition Catalog. That's the book. For those who are listening and not watching, you don't see the book cover and the description. We want you to be mindful because we're talking about the Basquiat. In the larger sense, we're talking about the Basquiat family. So that's why the bookmark is on one of the greatest visual artists of our time. The book came out in 2022. So we definitely want you to add that to your collection. I'm going to add it to mine. I don't have it, but I will shortly. And where do we want you to buy the book? We want you to buy that Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia, the brick and mortar store, the like the real store you see it on the screen, because it's owned by Mark Lamont Hill for sure. 2017. If you can't get to Philadelphia to Uncle Bobby's, you can go to UncleBobby's.com. We are always talking about black owned bookstores. That's the thing that we do. So the spotlight today is, other than Uncle Bobby's, is a bookstore, Adane, I think is how you pronounce it. Please forgive me for those who are associated with this bookstore, Adane Books and Goods. And this is the part that I like for those who are, when you go to their IG, it's a space for smart ass people. That is the and I need to do this for the record. Let's see, hold on one second. One second. I need to fix this. This is my precision itself coming up because I noticed my own mistake. Let me put this banner back up for those who are watching and not listening. It's a space for smart ass people. It's in Bedside, Brooklyn. The website is adane.co, and on IG the it's adane.co as well on IG. But anyway, whatever the case, please get over to this black owned bookstore. They're 5 years in the running. I was not aware of it. I'm going to go over to see them as well. We might have to do some business together. But anyway, let's move on to additional important things as well. Last week, I did a shout out to my nephew, to Giovanni. And we did this and we said Happy Giovanni Day because last Sunday was Happy Giovanni Day, or J Day as we call it in the Silver family. But we didn't get a chance. There's a technical glitch, and we didn't get a chance to put up the picture of now all of these pictures that you see on the screen. This is a picture of Giovanni when he was in kindergarten and then in seventh grade. But the thing is, now he's in ninth grade. Man, please. I'm so excited and proud of my nephew. We're going to be releasing a couple of interviews that he's done on me, hand selected me over his parents, no less, as a subject for interviews. So we're going to get that to the community as well. He's doing amazing work. He's evolving as a young man. And so I just wanted to take a point of personal privilege to say shout out to my nephew. I'm going to make sure that he watches this. That is Giovanni Silver that you all see on the screen. J Day was a week ago on Sunday. So we are also now going to say a big, big, heartfelt happy birthday to Oloye Babanil Tokode Adewere Ayanlere Clark Alufo Pejo Awo of Oshobo, Nigeria. That's a lot. That's a lot of titles. That's a lot of Oriki and what I just said. But this man is worthy. Oh, I wish you could see the screen right now. May 29th was a milestone. Yesterday was a milestone birthday for who many in the community know as Baba Neal. Some people know him as Chief Baba Neal. He is my Baba. And I'm just so honored to be an honorary daughter of his. This man is a master percussionist. He is a community activist. He is a keeper of the culture. Just he's opened roads for Yoruba culture, something that he has been entrenched in and loving since he was a teenager. Like none of this is like new. Um, Master percussionist for Baba Randy Weston, Ibaye, for Harry Belafonte. For a number of years, he was touring the world with Harry Belafonte. I could go on, but man, you can't really talk about the evolution of Black Brooklyn and Africanness and Black Brooklyn without including this man, this giant of a man. So I needed to gush over him in public, and whatever gushing I'm doing right now is not enough. So Eko Dum Baba. I'm gonna make sure you see this part so you can see how much I adore and respect you and want you to have the best life ever, to continue to have the best life ever. So that's our happy birthday tribute. You know, we go from happy birthday and then we go to in memoriam. Family, I'm sure you know, I think you all know that we have a rest in peace that is in order this day. Walter Theodore Rollins, aka Sonny Rollins, aka the saxophone colossus, the iconic legendary tenor saxophone musician and composer, made his transition on May 25th, just a couple of days ago. What you see on the screen are images from his carefully curated presence online, on his website, the social media, the Twitter, the Facebook. I was just so excited to know that we have legacy and legendary folks making sure that their voices are not said by anybody else other than what they say. So there's so much that could be said. I believe next month for Black Music Month, I'm gonna get somebody to come in here to lift us up and to educate us about not just Sonny Rollins Ibaye, but the jazz music and culture. You know, we've done it before. I think it's time to do it again. So that's our in memoriam. I definitely wanted you all to be aware. I wanted to add my condolences to the family as the world has done so as well. This was a man who was in tune with Black people and reporting not just around his music, but around the culture, the scene. You all saw a picture of the Amsterdam News that when Miles Davis was beat up. This is the video slide that's happening when Miles Davis was attacked and brutalized by the police. Sonny Rollins had in his archives a picture, the newspaper article from the Amsterdam News. And I said to my team, this was before the Amsterdam News had a red banner. This was how long ago it was. But I love the archival nature of the work. But more than that, I love and respect the gifts that he left about this thing that we now call jazz. So that's our in memoriam. And I want to, just by extension, I want to say the Black Spaces shout out today is sunnyrollins.com. Anywhere that you go to sunnyrollins.com and learn about this giant of a figure who just made his transition, you will also see the social media handles. Please visit. It's not just all about him, but about what he believed in as a humanitarian. So it's carefully curated, and I'd like you all to definitely take some time and tap into the spirit and the essence of the man, and may we never be separated from the principles and values and the creativity that he represents. I believe that this might be time for us to bring on our guests. Let me see. Yes, I see now that it is time for us to bring on our guests. Whoa, we're going to have a very layered conversation, everybody. We are bringing to the stage someone who has been doing a lot of healing work in the community, a lot of helping people reach their potential, a lot of wellness conversations. Talk about carefully curated. That's a big thing as well for the guest that I'm about to bring on. And not just about her body of work, but also her responsibility as the co-administrator of the estate of Jean-Michel Basquiat. I want to bring to the stage, if it is okay to do so, and I'm sure that it is, we are going to bring to the stage Lisane Basquiat for a very enriching conversation. There you are.
Good
Hey,
morning. Good
good
morning.
morning. Good morning. How are you, sis?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Oh,
Doing
the
well.
way that I'm excited right now,
Me
the way that
too.
I am giddy right now. Oh man, I am so honored that you have accepted our invitation to join us so we can have a layered conversation. I want to say this before we jump in. Wherever I am mispronouncing anything, please tell me.
No worries. I will absolutely let you know. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but that I only say that as a way to make sure that we're honoring people in the way that they say they want to be addressed and
I
embraced in the
appreciate
world.
it.
That's important. Because you can't call me Silvers, not you, but people can't call me Silvers. It's not my name. I'm like, what are you talking about? So
I
that's
appreciate it. I always have people who try to add something to my name and they're like,
what is that about?
hey Lee. And I'm like, hi, my name's Lisan.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being goofy right now, but I remember one time watching something. Mark was doing one of his masterful debates, and there was an elder standing next to him. This was a video clip that was going around, and the elder was trying to calm him down or whatever. And he was like, Lamont, Lamont, and I was like, wow, really? Like, calling him Lamont. What if that was reserved for his parents? All right, but I'm being silly. I'm being silly. I
Okay, we
really
need more of that. We need more
we
silly.
need we
We
need
need
silly.
more
We
silly.
need
Yeah.
silly. We need silly. We need the because it's the counter to the stupidity that's happening all
That's right.
around us. And real talk, before the Trump administration, right? Like we didn't just get under attack, right? But we're not going to go all the way there right now. We want to start off the conversation on a light note. We
Okay.
want to talk about you and your work. And I've been hearing about you for some time, and I'm really, really intrigued about your decision to escort people to wellness. We got
Mm,
a lot of layers to talk to you about, but I
mm,
want to start there because I think it's a particular kind of person that would submit themselves to the kind of discipline, the kind of study and rigor, the kind of inner work where they emerge as someone that says, I would like to help people get to a state of balance or mindfulness or elevated mental awareness, like emotional health and mental health. And that's part of what you do. So I'm going to ask you two questions. Why, as a point of origin, did you decide on this path? And how is it, and why are you staying in that path? So introduce yourself in terms of your credentials.
mm,
That's a
mm.
trigger word these days. Talk about talk about
I can
credentials.
talk about my
Ye-
credentials. Yeah.
Yes, we know
Yeah.
you can. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So let's start there, sis, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Lisane Basquiat. I born in Brooklyn to a Haitian father and a Haitian immigrant father and a Puerto Rican mother. And from a, the thing that I was in corporate for over 20 years. I've been a professional coach, professional certified coach for many, many years. I took that training and took a deep dive into NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, which helps us to understand the ways that language is used to both program us and in the ways that we continue to encode that programming and the ways that we communicate out into the world. So my focus is on language, the language we use. My focus is also on behavioral patterns that we follow. I have my undergraduate degree from City College in New York, and a lot of my focus was on cultural anthropology. So, what that all means is that I'm very interested in systems and the ways that people relate to each other, and in particular, the ways that we relate to each other, both starting first and foremost with the way that we relate to ourselves and how that gets reflected out into what's happening around us, the ways that our families interact with each other, our neighborhoods, our cities, our states, the country, so on, the planet. And so my focus and attention and heart is for the ways that sometimes within our family systems, the family systems that we grow up in, things get a little bit short circuited. And things get short circuited because everyone comes to the table with whatever it is, whatever unhealed parts of themselves they bring into the picture. And then we all wind up in a room with each other. And so the reason why this work is so important to me is because in my own life, I've seen what can happen when you're a parent who is so focused on achievement as safety for yourself and for your children, where you're looking to gain the American dream, which is like a beautiful home and whatever, beautiful home, apartment, or whatever it is, right? It's like these
Or
material
the
things, the cars, the image,
connections. Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that, right? The purse, all of that. And we strive for that as if it is believing that somehow or another it's going to make us more credible in the world. And that's all great. Like, I'm all for making the money, doing the thing. But I think what's missing in the conversation is what's happening behind those things, behind those material things, what's happening on the inside. because what's happening on the inside is going to inform everything else that's happening around you. So when we talk about generational wealth, many times we're talking, especially those of us who are of color, who are in this country, who are going through the struggles that we go through. When we're talking about generational wealth, very often we're talking about what we're going to bestow upon our children. What cars we're going to leave them, the house, the watch, the whatever those things are. What I'm introducing and asking and helping to introduce into the conversation is, what are we bestowing upon our children while we're alive, after we pass away, and the people around us from an emotional and mental wellness perspective. And you cannot tell someone to do something that you've not been willing to do yourself.
That part.
That part.
That part. Yeah. I can relate to just having this thing that you're that one is drawn to, right? You feel like it's your destiny calling. I'm also imagining, real talk, not to try to be funny, but that's a lot of work. Like in and of ourselves, it's a lot of work to evolve, right? Um, but now you're placing yourself in the metaphorically a room full of people who are not, and people's stuff is bouncing all over the place. And then you're the person that's like, I can handle that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, and that's for any life coach, someone who's trained or a healer, or even a physical doctor, even. Is it just something extra where and you in particular are just willing to push through because you feel so strongly that that you're a part of the answer, that it makes it worth it? Is it something internal that keeps you to stay?
Um, what's added into the other experience that I have is that I also study something called Huna, which is a Hawaiian spiritual and energetic practice. I have uh, a goal of ensuring that I stay connected to God. Um, and to answer your question more directly, I don't, it's not hard work. The work is getting to a point where you are paying attention enough to be able to make the decision to actually look at your life. People look at it as, oh, it's such hard work. It's such hard work. It isn't. Are there tears sometimes? Yes. Sometimes there's a release. Sometimes you come to an awareness about something. But the hardest thing is actually making the decision that, you know what? I see something going on here, and I'm not going to ignore it, and I'm not going to just push past it, and I'm not going to argue over it, and I'm not going to stonewall. I'm actually going to sit down and be willing to open up my heart and my mind to what's actually happening around me. That's the work.
That is the work. I know that to be true.
Yeah.
The all the experiences that as someone who has tapped into traditional African spirituality, like deeply tapped in, I'm like, yeah, this is a universal thing right here, because that's the work. Would you agree? This is now, I'm just asking, would you agree that the work is also not beating yourself up in the process?
Please don't, because it's a waste of energy. It's not about right and wrong. At the end of the day, you think about what you want. Think about what you want. For me, again, I was raised primarily by my father as a single immigrant black man trying to make his way in this country. My mother was very present, but she wasn't. I didn't live with my mother. She had some mental health things going on. And so for me, I think that I came into this world with on a stage with some characters and with some situations and circumstances. And there was something in me that saw beyond what was on the surface. What I saw was, I didn't have words for it at the time, but what I saw later was, these are people who were struggling with what was happening in their own lives. These are people who sometimes you see something and you take it at face value, but it's actually being raised by a person who's burnt out and struggling and trying to
Yeah,
figure out their own thing and trying to navigate their own thing.
all
Right?
of the pressures, all
All
of
the
the
pressures,
pressures.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so sometimes when we take, because we're moving so quickly and because we're trying to achieve so much, we lose sight of the fact that there is always a divine order. There are always signs. There's always things to help us, to calibrate us, to recalibrate us, and to get us back. My goal is to help people to, it's not me jumping in like, I'm going to be the one to help. No,
Right. 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 Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
Right. What I
Right.
can do is I can share with you what I've learned, not about my life, but what I've learned that has helped me to
Hmm.
open up
Yeah, I'm with
see
you.
something different. What I
Yeah.
can do is show you the what if questions I've asked myself. What if it wasn't that the person was just coming for me on that day? What, excuse me, what
Yeah.
if that person, just as we do today, hung up the phone from getting bad news, followed by a text from someone, followed by they just tripped and stubbed their toe, and now you walked into that moment? What if? What
What
if?
if it has nothing to do with you?
What if it
What
has
if,
nothing to do with me? What if I had not jumped all over to cut off the person that I was dating, to tell them what I thought they were up to and what they thought, and told them what I think they're thinking? What if I had taken a step back and held my own space so that I could create a safe space, so I could truly hear the truth of what the authenticity of what's
yes.
happening in the moment, so that we
Right.
can deal with that? What if?
Yes. What if that? You
Yeah.
know, my Aluo, my Babalao, says this all the time, like a broken record. We have to leave room for that which we don't know. That is Chifayanda, right? The audience here knows I talk about him and his teachings and the teachings of Ifa on a regular basis, but there's alignment here. You
For
know what I mean?
sure.
What you're saying, there's definitely alignment. Let me ask you this. I zoned in that you said you didn't have the words when you realized that some other things were going on. Was this at a as a teenager, as a preteen, as a young adult? I know you've come to understand it now, but when did you realize, oh, something, there's some other characters and it may not be about this? What age around?
I think it was around 16. I
Okay.
had a moment with God when I was 16 years old on a handball court in Brooklyn.
That's a story right there.
Okay. Okay. On a
I
handball
love
court
it.
in
I
Brooklyn,
love
I
it.
had a moment. And it was just one of those moments when and there was a lot going on in my life. And on the surface, things were cray. And I had this moment where where I realized God, and where God became very real within me.
Yeah.
And then over time, that developed, and that conversation developed. And then I had another time several years later where I remember, and I was going through some real things, and I remember laying on the floor in my living room, and my son was born. I had my son at 18 years old, very, very young. And I had a life that there was no road leading to Lisane Basquiat having a child as a teenager,
Mm,
but I did.
okay.
And I'm in my apartment and I'm laying on the floor. And I was like, and I could feel that struggle that we sometimes feel where we're fighting, fighting, fighting. And my prayer would always be for strength. God, give me the strength. God, give me the strength. God, give me the strength. And this one time, I'm laying there crying, and all kinds of heck is breaking loose around me, April, all kinds of things. And I remember thinking, wait a minute, God, I'm asking for the wrong thing. God, show up in this situation. However, I'm not praying for strength, I'm praying for you to show up, okay, with
Mhm.
whatever I need to have.
Whatever is needed.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
something, okay? Within, it felt like days. Or just, it was like everything came into order, and I was recalibrated, and I watched what happens when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, because it's prayer we're talking about. We're talking about a
Yeah.
conversation with God, but it really was about allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to hear God, to see God, and to see beyond what we're asking for in the immediate moment, which most of the time is gratification, because we don't want to feel pain.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Gratification, or would you say maybe gratification and or relief?
Relief. That's a better,
Yeah.
yes, relief.
Yeah. But it could be either, right?
It could be
But
either, but definitely relief. Yeah.
relief, yeah. I think what I'm hearing, because I'm sure everybody's watching can relate, whether or not how they arrived or if they got out of that space. But what's resonating with me is the when you were like, wait a minute, and that sounded like I might not know what I need right now. But
Even though
prior
I
to
felt like I
that,
did,
right,
I was,
because we always
yeah,
do. Our
yeah,
egos are like, no, I know what I need. I
yeah.
need help. And maybe you just needed to be still, right? So oof,
I needed
girl.
to listen. I needed to
Mhm.
listen, because the thing
Yeah,
is that our voice and the voice of God are up in here, right? And when we're going and going and going and overriding, and when we're moving so fast and talking so much about the things internally and externally, a lot of times we don't hear. So it really
yes.
is about quieting down enough to hear and to sense and to be able to be in your own space, so that
Hmm.
other people have an opportunity to create a space with us,
Yeah.
right? To listen and to not take things so personally. So when
Whew.
your kids, and I just need to say this if it's okay.
Yes, please.
So all of these folks, this whole conversation about parental estrangement, right? What if that's not it? What if what's happening is a very natural part of our development, where we get to a point in our lives where we start to question our lives? What if, instead of using that, and this is to the parents, instead of using that as my children are attacking me, I did the best I could, they don't understand what happened to me. What if you un- met this child, your child, with this opportunity to look at their lives and the life that you shared with them together? What if you were able to actually hear what they had to say, so that you could truly know who they are?
Yeah. I want to get to the question on the screen,
Yes.
but not but. I so did not mean but. I'm not canceling out anything you said. It's making me think about your thoughts on, do the children say that about their parents as well? Is there space for the children to say, maybe I don't know as a child all
Yeah.
that my parent has gone through, and for me that showed up several years ago when my mother had cancer and she's still with us. But it was during that time when I was going to Atlanta, like regular to be there to support her or whatever. And it dawned on me like, oh, wait a minute. She had a whole life before I was born. She had a whole life. And I started to picture her as a little girl in Decatur, Alabama. I started to picture her in high school. I started to picture her the first time she met her husband, my father, and she had butterflies like that. All of that predates me. You know what I mean? But so what are your thoughts on, does that question the value of that, the child looking at their parent differently as well? What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are that absolutely. And I think that this is about, it's less about people being on different sides and more about having safe space in all relationships for
Yeah,
people to be able to better understand each other. You
yeah.
cannot, communication does not start with and then I'll answer the question about NLP.
Yeah, on the screen.
Communication
Yes,
does
yes.
not start with, I'm going to be a better communicator. I'm going to learn how to talk to April. I'm going to learn how to say the things. Communication starts with, I'm going to listen, right? Listening is more important than that, is a form of communication. When you're unwilling to step into a space of receptivity and openness and a willingness to hear, that is a communication too.
I so agree with you.
So for children and parents, it really is, it's not about how do I tell the person my story. It's like, how do
Right.
we cultivate a space where the stories can come out, where
Yes.
my mother can present as the woman she is with all of her
Right.
challenges.
With all the challenges and
Yeah.
victories, is all those things.
Neurolinguistic
We're
program,
gonna.
neurolinguistic programming. When you think
Yeah.
about, we think about a computer, okay? And if you go into, if there are programs that are written in a computer, sometimes we're using apps right now. It happened to me last night where you have a glitch, right? You're putting something in, something's supposed to come out, there's a glitch. Those applications are written and coded by people who create systems and programs that are supposed to run in response to something. We are like computers programmed in the same way. So what happens is, and it's programmed through language. And so through that language, we tell our brain, neuro, how to operate, what to do based on language. So when you think about things like um, uh, all people who wear burgundy shirts are whatever. Those things get encoded into us. And so neurolinguistic programming looks at the ways that language informs the behaviors that we have and at the ways that we use language to help us to get to our results and what we really want, and the ways that language is used to take us away from it. That's the I for some reason I'm not coming up with a great example. I feel like I'm not explaining it well, but
Mm.
it's really the ways that we use language in to either reach our goals or to not reach our goals. The ways that we say things like "I'm so tired." The ways that, I'll give you one because you and I share this, and I was going to say this is a 2 for 1. You say "please forgive me." I say "please forgive me" too. I learned "please forgive me" versus "I'm sorry" through Ho'oponopono, right? Which
Yes.
is, instead of saying "I'm sorry," which is like "I'm sorry," it's kind of self-deprecating in a way.
Yeah.
Saying "please forgive me" is an active way of saying, I may have or may not have offended you. There's an action there. Saying "but" after a sentence precedes everything. You said that also precedes
Yes.
everything that a person said before. I want to go, I want to start a new program of yoga. I want to start working out every day, but I'm too tired. I got too much going on. When you say "but," you're telling your unconscious mind to cancel out
Yep.
everything you said. And the only thing you're focused on is, I have too much going on. Switch that language to, I really want to work out and get in better shape. And I'm looking for ways and pockets of time to do that. Just,
Yes. I'm with you.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
neurolinguistic programming.
I love it, and my friends who tolerate me know that I'm words mean so much, more than just the letters put together.
They do.
So this is exciting. This is exciting. We have another. This is from our producer, actually,
Oh,
Aaron. Yeah. Now the question for those who are listening and not watching, the question is, why do you think something so powerful and beneficial as the art of listening is not championed or taught in life? That's a question from Aaron.
because
Uh,
we're fighting for space.
mm,
Because we're fighting for space. Because so many of us were brought up in environments where there may not have been enough space for us. And so when you are in an environment, not because people are ill intended, sometimes it's busy, sometimes there's a lot of kids, like whatever the things are. Sometimes when you grow up in an area where you believe that there's not enough space for you, you go into the world believing that you have to fight for space. And so if you when you take that into conversations and into interactions with people, you come into that interaction demanding to be heard because you don't believe and you've not gotten to a place where you're settled into your spirit enough to know that there's enough room and space for you.
yeah.
I believe that that has to do with it. I think it also has to do with the fact that we're so very often externally driven. Everything is about what people think of us, how we look, right? And less about How do I hold my own space so that there's a shared thing? I think that it has a lot to do with that.
You're making me think so much, and I'm trying to not go down all the rabbit holes, but this is opening up a lot, and we have a lot to discuss. I'm curious about people who talk fast, like literally talk like the speed. I had come to learn recently that that can be seen as a speech impediment. People
Mm,
who talk fast. Um, in the scientific realm of which I know nothing about, but I wanted to get your opinion, get your thoughts on that or feedback. But then also, I'm thinking about people who talk obsessively, right? Um, I learned recently that that's a thing as well. Like, scientifically speaking, I guess. Like, are these things real? Like the fast talking, uh, 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 and I'm trying to be respectful, but I'm just learning that this is a field of study.
mm.
Can you address that at all?
Yeah.
Um,
I can't speak specifically about the field of study. What I can say
mhm,
is that in what I observe with the people that I work with and in the spaces that I'm in, that very often when a person is speaking really quickly, what it's because they have not been given they haven't given themselves permission to slow down. They
mhm,
believe that they have to be at that pace. And
yeah.
I'll tell you, on my team and people that I work with, and sometimes they get very frustrated with me because I say, no, we're going to slow down. We're going to slow.
Right.
Okay. Yes, there are things that we have to get done. Yes, there's a lot to get done. There's a big mountain. But when you're barreling through, you miss things.
Yeah. I think what this is, what your commitment to people's wellness is opening up that there's just layers and layers and layers,
Right.
to how we relate to the world. And you said it earlier, how we relate to ourselves, our family, the community, and then the world. I could go on and on about this because it's how we show up and how we communicate or not communicate, is a thing. And so I appreciate that you're doing this work, and that you're driven to do it. And it sounds like you're bringing more than just the medical science or things of that, but
Right.
there's some lived experiences. Now, as a good segue, if I may, as a good segue, uh, we talked about some origin stories here, right? And part of your origin story is as the older sister of one of the most recognized visual artists ever. And I'd like to introduce into the conversation your origin story for Jean-Michel Basquiat. You are the co-administrator of your late brother's estate,
Mhm.
um and that's a lot, but and my little learning of this, and studying that's a highly curated um operation. It's clear. It's very, very clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear,
Uh,
and I'm trying to like, find my words because it forgive me if I mess up, but it's like this is organized. We are together. You and your sister, you and your
Yeah, my
sister.
sister Janine. I do want to
And
add that I'm actually the middle child. So Jean-Michel was older than me. So Jean-Michel,
oh, I'm sorry, I
me.
said it
That's
wrong.
okay. He's my
Yeah.
older brother. Jean-Michel, me, and then my sister Janine.
Yes, yes. I did read that and I said it wrong, and I appreciate the
That's okay.
the correction. Um, but that's hefty, right? It seems like that's hefty for someone of his stature. But before we get to the artist, can we talk about the family life? I don't want to present you as, you know, this sidebar type thing, right? You know what I mean? But I want to pay homage to your family.
I
And
appreciate
because
that.
it seems like it was very nourishing and nurturing. So if we could talk about him, the human being, before we talk about him as the artist that we know, if that makes sense.
I would appreciate that. Yeah. Well, first of all, I just to end out the other thing, I just want to say to folks, pay attention to the relationship you're in with yourselves. A lot of times we focus very much on how we're showing up for other people, but the real the real the real gem in there is to start to pay attention to the way you speak to yourself. Start to pay attention to, if you had to put a word on the relationship, the quality of the relationship you had with yourself, say the word and then start figuring out how to make the word a word that you want. If it's indifferent, figure out how to make it more loving. Okay, I'll end that.
I
Okay.
love it. No, I love
Um,
it. I love it.
so yes, yeah. So Jean-Michel, um, let's see. What do I want to say? Uh, Jean-Michel was an incredible and remains an incredible brother. We come out of a family, me, Jean-Michel, and Janine, again, first generation. We grew up in Brooklyn, and all that means for those folks who know Brooklyn, who know like the immigrant melting pot that is Brooklyn.
Yes.
And so that is where we came out of. And we also were born into a family where our father had migrated here from Haiti out of the political turmoil that was happening in Port-au-Prince at the time under Papa Doc Duvalier and then Baby Doc. And he was the first, my father, Gerard Basquiat, to migrate to this country and came here by himself at 18 years old and set out to create the American dream of being a businessman. He and my mother met within 2 years of him being here. He got here, I think, in like 55. And they met within 2 years of him being here. My mother's Puerto Rican, beautiful Afro-Latina woman, was at the Palladium. And they would have these, Saturday night Palladium thing. And they met because the mutual interest was music, the language of music. And because Haiti's on the other side of the Dominican Republic, they could, they both spoke Spanish, and that was how they were able to communicate with each other. My mother taught my father English, and they got, all the things. They got married, had the first pregnancy was a stillborn. His name was Max. This was the year before Jean-Michel was born. Jean-Michel was born in 1960. I was born in 64. And my sister was born in 67. So later, my parents divorced. And when I was very young, when we were all very young, and we grew up in a household with our dad because he was the one who was most equipped to take care of us. And my mother also had concerns about making sure that we lived the same life materially that we would have lived had they been together. And so that was where, that's how that happened. And it was really interesting to watch my brother as an artistic, creative person existing in a household where my father had a plan, as many parents do, right?
Right.
And if you see the photos of Jean-Michel, you see him with the suit on, and my brother was
Yeah, and the
clean.
and
He
the
was
white
so,
collar, no
oh
less.
my goodness, we were all so clean, right? We were clean. And my
Yes.
father was like clean. He was like Sidney Poitier clean, and my mother
Yes.
was
Yes.
gorgeous. And so my father would, he had this plan, and it's like, and he was a strong man. My father was a man, and he was strong, and he was a provider, and he was a no nonsense kind of guy. Like, he did what he said he was going to do when he did it. And he could also be, especially later on in life, very kind of like rigid and all of that, but he was a strong guy. And so he had a plan, and it was like Jean-Michel was going to keep the suit going, and he was going to like become a professional, a white collar professional, because as a Haitian, that's what you do. You're a
That's
doctor,
what
you're a
else is there
lawyer.
to do, right?
What else is there to do? So then he was gifted, my father, this son who was like this creative, that, read presented as mischievous and all of that, but it was really him honing his creative spirit through antics, through elaborate kind of, he wasn't just going to do a little prank. He was going to, like, there were cobwebs. There were, there was a whole thing,
He was going
everything.
all out.
The shenanigans, okay? And Jean-Michel was also very, so it wasn't, and I've said this before, it wasn't like he was walking around the house with like a beret and a palette and paint. It wasn't that. It was
Right.
him navigating the energy that was within him and navigating this strong pull and desire to express everything that God had put into his spirit. It made my father bonkers. It made him bonkers, and it made him he was afraid, and he was afraid for his son because
That he wasn't going to be able to exist in the world.
he was like, what are you talking about? You listen, I came to this country at 18 years old with a toothbrush in my pocket, all right, and 40 cents and ate potatoes and pushed a garment rack down the street. And you are living in a brownstone, and I am telling you, you are gonna go to school. You're gonna, why can't you just, you know?
And you want to color inside the lines? You're supposed to color inside the lines.
And so Jean-Michel had to, you know, and I think it's the biggest example of, you know, there are a lot of people who say, I have this dream and I want to do something. But, and I said this to my son years later, I remember saying these words, and I know it came from the background I had, where I would say to him, if you want to be a star, when he was going through his, like, you know, I'm going to be a rapper. And I'm like, that's cool, do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to be a starving artist, starve. Be a starving artist and starve and take care of yourself. If you really want to do it, you make that thing happen. And that was really what it is. That was the decision that Jean-Michel made. He was like, I cannot express in this environment. And it's not about a lack of love or any of that. It's just, it was, the environment was not conducive to him being able to express his art, his creativity, his soul in the way that he needed to. And so he went off and he decided he was going to be an artist. And that's what he went to go do. And he was very young. And he was thrown into a world that was not ready for him. They knew the value of him. They knew the gift he had. They joined him in that. They knew that. But they were not ready for the likes of Jean-Michel Basquiat. And he, while he was building the ship, was frantically trying to prepare himself for
the fame, for
all of it that was coming to him, because the money part had opened up. But it's like, how do you navigate relationships? How do you take your gift and ensure? And that's where my father and that part of it came in, because what Jean-Michel stepped into his career with was the talent, the raw talent that we all know, the beautiful talent, but he also had the business acumen. And that's what befuddled people, because they're like, hey, listen, you just take this 2 cents.
You know? And he was like, oh, hell.
Like, where's my money? What are you talking about? You know? So right. He was navigating and learning all of this. And so the one thing, and I have no regrets about anything because I know everything's in divine order, but the one thing that I really sometimes imagine, what if myself, is what if Jean-Michel had moved out of the depressed state that he was in and had the opportunity and lived and had the opportunity to fully confront his life.
Right.
You know, that is the one thing that is sometimes I wonder, like, what if, you know?
Yeah.
That said, it has been very, losing a sibling is hard. Losing a sibling is really challenging because it puts you, first of all, you watch your parents carry their heart in their hand for the rest of their lives.
I saw something, and I think it was on your Instagram, and we'll put that up before you go. Did I see it on your Instagram where your mom was just in disbelief and denial for quite some time and told herself that he's not gone, he's just away. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't remember where I said it, but yes,
Okay.
that
Okay.
yes, I may have been during the King Pleasure exhibition, but that I said that. But yes, she did. That was the way that she coped. Is that she said, because he had been traveling a lot, and so for her, she just said, "I just have to see it as that he's on a trip. He's
Hmm.
traveling." My father went knee deep into protecting his son,
Mm,
right? Because that is, I would imagine for a man, that feeling of like, I couldn't protect, my son.
right.
And so my father started gathering. He gathered his son. He gathered
Okay.
everything, his son, everything about his son. He brought his son home and created the estate and decided and made sure that Jean-Michel's legacy was respected. And he spent the rest of his life ensuring that his son was respected, ensuring that his work was respected, and then when my father passed away in 2013, my sister Janine and I stepped in with support from our stepmother Nora, stepped in to run the estate,
Right.
and we've been running it since our father passed away in 2013.
Yeah. And by all appearances, despite my ignorance, from all appearances, it looks like you all have that on lock. And it's really interesting, and I say that because we just had Lisa E. Davis on,
Mhm.
right? And she talked about intellectual property. She just wrote a book, Our Minds Were Always Free.
Oh,
And her book, as an entertainment attorney, she talked about intellectual property and all of the stories since the colonial era when Black folks did not have that which they created as their own. And Columbia Records, with that CBS Records, now Columbia, making millions of dollars, for example, off of the creativity of Bessie Smith, who died pretty much penniless. So her book is about those stories, the stories we've heard and that which we haven't, but then is juxtaposed with the stories that this is all Black folks, the stories of Black folks who was like, oh no, like from the colonial era, even as enslaved Africans here, where that which they created was protected. They had the patent laws, the intellectual property. So we have both stories, but the problem is we have too many stories
mm,
of the artists and their creativity, um, as the meat for the vultures,
yeah.
and the family suffers. So I'm saying that you all look like you all got this on lock, and it's inspiring. Is what I'm trying to
Well, you
say.
go back to, we were talking earlier about relief, and I think what happens a lot of times when somebody, we're not all born into managing an estate and being the sister of one of the greatest artists ever. um, has a lot of complexity to it. And I was a corporate executive. I was an entrepreneur, right? This
Gotcha.
had, being Jean-Michel's sister and the work that Janine and I do has propelled me into a completely different world than what I was prepared for. And so what
Mm,
that means is that I and Janine, our family, we've had to build the ship along the way.
right.
So there
Right.
are things that we're doing that are firsts that we didn't know. And so I think what happens a lot of times especially when you have a family member who has that level of notoriety, the family comes in and you got to step away from relief and take a step back. Because when you jump in and it's like, we have this thing, it's worth $2, let's run out there and get the money for it, you're not thinking about the long term. And so I think that's the thing that my
Wow.
father, Gerard Basquiat, my mother's name is Matilda Basquiat,
Yes.
I forgot to say,
Yes. Yes.
that my father was very adamant about. My father was like, no, we're going to hold this here. Okay. We're going to find a way to allow Jean Michel's work to pay, use that,
Right.
pay for running his estate
Right. Right.
versus fire sale, and then there's no estate at all, right? And so I think that there has to be that question of what can we do to meet our goals, and don't jump to immediate relief, because there are
Right.
other ways. And so that's really what it's been. And so there are a lot of people who talk about, why do you guys do licensing, and why would you? And it's for two reasons. One is it costs money to run an estate. We are protecting his legacy. That involves legal bills. It involves so many things that on the surface you don't even understand. So it's
Right.
costly to do that. That's number one. Number
Yeah.
two, because there was a time when Jean-Michel Basquiat and his incredible work was off on the walls of only the people who could afford the work.
Right.
Today, you can wear a thing you can wear a purse that has
That
Jean-Michel's
has,
artwork on it.
yeah,
You can carry and be inspired by this incredible artist. And you
right.
can, and it's accessible at any level.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love the decision that you all as a family, as an estate, has come to, because accessibility is important,
I think that,
particularly to us. I mean, to beyond Black folks, but especially including Black folks, because so I love it. I love that you
yeah.
all have done that. Especially, man, oh my gosh, there's so many questions I want to ask. So I can hear my producers in the head like, stop telling people you're gonna have them back, but we got to do a part two.
Let's do a
But
part
before you,
two.
yes,
I'd love to have you on my podcast if you're willing to come. I would
done.
love to do a part two, April. There's so much that I would love to ask you. And I
Yes.
see there's so many uh we can have, oh my gosh, we could have
Yeah,
a
we're gonna
breakout.
have fun. We're gonna have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I've been hearing for more than a year. Y'all should meet. So here we are. But wait, but I'm not saying, that we're done yet, because I do want to ask you to shift. And it's hard to shift from this conversation, but I really want to talk about you as an entrepreneur, because you have a workspace for women in Cali. You're in California, and you have an event coming up
I
on
do.
Yes.
I
So
do.
that's exciting too. So I want to give the floor to you on those two things, please.
Thank you. So here in San Diego, I live in San Diego, and I also live in the New York area because I'm from New York. And
Yes, because you can't leave. We're not having that.
come on now, I'm from New York. But I so here in San Diego, I own a female-focused co-working space and business accelerator, Hera Hub Carlsbad, and it's a license model. My friend Felina is the one who actually founded it, but I own the Carlsbad location. And the reason I purchased this location was really in honor of my mother Matilda. So when my parents split up many years ago, I was very young. I was like 4. Jean-Michel was 7 or 8, and my sister was a baby. And the decision was made that my father would raise us, because my mother, the opportunities for her as a woman at the time were Avon. She was also a seamstress. It was Avon. It was those kind of things. It was something. And mind you, I just want to be careful. My father provided until the day he left this planet. Like, my father is a provider. So it wasn't that.
Right.
But my mother did not have the opportunities that we have. So that we have today. Hera Hub Carlsbad I purchased because in honor of her. And so it is a space of female founders, whether you're doing it because this is your dream and
Wow.
it's, you just want to build a business. There are women who are there because they're trying to out earn their alimony. There are women who are thrown into, I've been raising kids for 15 years and now I got to figure out what I'm doing, what my next act is. And so it is a space and member community where primarily we have male members also, but it's a female space though. Come, learn from each other. We have workshops, we have programs, we have support, we have
I
the
love it.
the space that's created where like-minded entrepreneurs can come together, grow, scale, or start their business. That's Hera Hub Carlsbad.
I love it. I love it. And I've seen the pictures. It looks like a happy space, like
It's a
on
happy
your IG.
space. We have a good
Yeah,
time. We have a good
it's
time. And then
joyous.
I,
Yeah,
yeah. And then I also, through my Shaping Freedom framework, which is more about personal leadership, and that we have programs and events and activations. We call them Soulful Saturdays, where it's like not about networking or any of that. It's just people who want to be in diverse space coming together
yes.
and um, really. My name is misspelled. I'm looking at. I'm sorry. I'm looking at.
Oh no, yeah,
It's
yeah, no,
okay.
no, no,
Um,
no. This is a space where you can be like, yo, wait, time out.
I was like, wait a minute, Bob, what's that?
No, no, no. I love it. I love it. We're
I
precisionists, and it's okay.
and I appreciate. Thank you, the person who did it. So, the program I have, what I was talking about earlier, is that you can't fix what you're not aware of, and so your past is your present is an online program that I'm running on June 10th, and this is going to be the relationship edition of Your Past is Your Present. And basically, what I'm talking about during this is taking a look at the things that are happening today. Sometimes we get so caught up in what's happening today. And what's happening today is a result of patterns and behavioral patterns that were created from past experience, sometimes from our childhood, that are now driving the show today. And so this is an awareness session
Hmm.
where you come in, I walk you through a framework, we talk about the ways that we got to the place that we are today. And I walk you through how things that have happened in your childhood, sometimes the cycles and patterns of behavior within our childhood, sometimes things happen that taught us that through neurolinguistic programming, that taught us that we're not meant to take up space. Things that taught us that we shouldn't set boundaries because we're meant to show up as the shiro or the hero every day. That taught us that maybe who we are isn't enough, or who we are isn't good enough, or that we need to contort ourselves into someone different than who we know we were born to be. And so all of this work is about unveiling and kind of getting to the bottom of what's happening. Because when you get to the root of something, it's just like when you're gardening, it keeps coming up. And so you can go by with your scissor and you can clip, but you know what? You're going to be clipping every day,
Yeah,
every until you go down, you find the root and you pull the root out. Because when you pull the root out, everything else that's planted around you now has room to grow.
that's why this show is called Ascending. Literally,
Oh,
literally. That's why this show
oh,
is called Ascending, because we get to the root of a matter, and that seed that is underground, you know what I mean, that needs the dirt, and for a moment the whatever's in the soil, so that it breaks through, even through concrete. Flowers
that's
and roses through concrete,
that's right.
like literally that's our symbol. We are so kindred right now, and
Are
yesterday and tomorrow.
Yes, we are. It's like sometimes, we're in these relationship loops sometimes, and where it's like, and I have, people, clients and friends and people who are like, oh, I'm in a relationship. This thing is going on. I'm going to rush into this relationship. This is happening. And then 2 days later, it blows up. And then you go to somebody else. And in your mind, sometimes to protect ourselves, we say, there are no good people in the world. What's up with all these jacked up people? But when you take a moment and start to dig back, what you realize is you're literally dating the same person. They have a different face.
Oh my
They may be a
God.
different height.
I'm gonna
They
need you
may
to
live
get
someplace
my head.
different.
Can you just get out of my head right now?
Okay. You are literally dating the same person. And if
Girl.
you're not careful, I'm saying this, if you're not careful, you could be dating that same person, all right, playing that costume game for 15, 20 years. So it's
Whew.
not about blame and it's not about being wrong. It's about in the areas of your life where you want better results.
Yes.
Let's get in and let's talk about how you may be at the place that you're at today.
Yeah.
And it's not, and this, and people, those of us who want to walk real fast, they're not going to want to hear this. This is not the program about changing it. That's not what we're doing. This is about awareness. So you're leaving with, ooh, I see something different than I understood when I walked into this room,
Right.
the online room.
I love
And
it.
that's where your biggest change is. If you
I
think
love
about
it.
any diet you've ever wanted to be on, anything you've ever wanted to accomplish, you first have to be aware. Before you jump into, we jump. I'm gonna go on a diet tomorrow. I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna do this and do that. How are you on a solution phase when you don't even know what the problem is?
Right.
So
Which is
that's what,
that talk
yeah.
about your breakthrough moment. Like you know, was like, wait a minute, I'm asking for help, but that might not be it. So let me ask you this, because you know, we'll look up and it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern.
I know.
Uh,
I'm having such a good time.
me too. I'm being
Thank you.
genuine.
Thank you.
You know, people who know me, I don't say what I say I mean. You know what I mean? But let me ask you this. This event on June 10th, that's virtual and people can register via your website. Is that
Yes, please. If go to lisanebasquiat.com or shapingfreedom.com and register for this program. It's on June 10th. It's at 4:30 Pacific, which is going to be 7:30 Eastern. It's 2 hours. My style is this: very warm, welcoming, direct. Okay, so this is not about blame. You're going to
yeah,
be in a safe environment within this is about tending to a garden in a beautiful way, and you will walk out with something different than what you walked in with a different understanding. We have one happening in person here in San Diego. I think it's in August, and we're
okay.
building out, we're a little late with it because this year has been kooky, but we have a full
Nice.
curriculum of programming focused on helping you to improve the relationship that you're in with yourself so that you can
Yes.
show up in a more and make a more positive contribution to your family, to your dreams, to your life, and to all the relationships happening around you.
I love it.
That
I
that
love it.
is that is the overarching my overarching intention and goal, and
Yeah.
what is behind the programming that's out there. I have things on boundaries, on how to communicate better, a full curriculum of programming focused on helping people to strengthen their foundation so that our
Yeah.
families can be in a better place, because our families are struggling.
Our families are struggling, and you've done the work, and you've trained, and you've gotten licensure. Like you, I'm being
That's,
silly, but yeah,
I'm,
you, we believe you.
I'm
We,
certified. I'm
you're
certified.
certified.
I am
All those
certified
things
for
you've
sure.
done the
Yes.
training.
Yes,
Done the
I have.
training.
I am.
But this is a goofy segue. And I'll ask this to be your last quote unquote last thing. Tell
Okay.
us about your podcast. Tell it like
Oh,
yeah.
I love my podcast, Shaping Freedom podcast. You can listen to it on all the places where you get your podcast. It is, a lot of us. I talk about being first generation from the perspective of where my parents came from, but for me and many others, we're first generation. Many of
Yes,
us are first generation breaking generational curses, first generation, living in the world that we're in today. And
yes,
so the podcast is conversations with ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, and having these folks who come and talk about their journey, what they did to get to where they are. And it's not about, let me tell you how successful I am. It's the deeper stuff. It's like the things that they had to release from inside in order to, or the things they're still releasing in order to
yeah,
get to the place they are. It is warm. It feels a lot like this,
yeah,
where we
yeah.
just pull up and have great conversation. I've had incredible conversations with people like Rhonda Ross and Kofi Sirobi and
Edwin Gibson,
Edwin
right?
Lee
Yeah,
Gibson,
yeah, yeah.
Rico Ross recently, just
Love it.
incredible, and people that we all know the names of, and some people who are behind the scenes. I just
Yes.
interviewed Jill McNaggle, who's local, and she founded Kids for Peace, which is an organization focused on helping children to who are actually advocating for peace in the
Wow.
world. And
As
it's
children.
as children, and it's a global movement. I
Okay.
also interviewed, I'm very, very committed to artists and
Hmm.
to the challenge of artists to find ways to make themselves, uh, to support themselves through art. So I'm on the
Yeah.
board for Vanguard Culture, which is a local San Diegan organization in San Diego, led by my friend Susanna Perito Swap, who is the founder of that organization, which is focused on building um, programming for artists so that they can actually get paid
Yeah.
what they deserve and all that.
Yeah.
Artists need our support. Artists,
Absolutely.
when
Absolutely.
people are snatching things away, artists are telling the history of our
Yes.
world, and
Right.
we need to support them. So if you know of an
Absolutely.
artist, buy something, support
Yes.
them, support an artist.
This is such so kindred, and I want to shout out Campbell and Carr. I have a sister in Carlsbad,
Oh, do
so
you?
yes, so I'm going to make that
Would you
connection.
please? Will you please?
Absolutely, shout out to Campbell and Carr. That's my sister Olatutu. I'll make that
Oh,
connection.
I
Yes,
don't know
I'll
that.
make that.
Can I shout something out that has nothing to do
Yes,
with me?
yes,
Okay. Here in San Diego, Juneteenth in San Marcos, friends of mine are putting together this annual event that they do in support of Juneteenth. And it is an elaborate thing where it's like food and they bring in chefs and it's this entire thing that they do. It is a beautiful, beautiful gift to the community. It's
nice.
called the Family Table. So, for those of you who follow me, or for those of you who will go and look for this information, go to my Instagram. I've been posting for them. It is an incredible, incredible
Absolutely.
event. If you're in the area for Juneteenth, go to that event. It's going
So
to
people
be,
have time. They have time to
they have
register
plenty of
for June
time.
10th, and they
Mhm.
have time to register and get to the event on and for Juneteenth as well. So
Yes,
the website is Lisane
that's right. Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Basquiat. For those, because we have a lot of people who like listen while they're washing the dishes and they don't have time to watch. So that's the .com is the website, and Lisan Basquiat on IG.
Mhm.
Lisan um, Basquiat on IG. That's on the screen for those who are listening and not watching. I don't even know how to say goodbye, but I most no, no, no. We always say here, my grandmother says so long. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying
Okay.
so long for now.
Yes. See you later.
See you
Yes.
later.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for who you be. Thank you for
You.
the keeper that you are. Shout out to your entire family,
Thank you.
even the names you didn't mention. Like, just I'm so grateful for this connection that won't break. I'm clear. Thank
Mm-mm.
you so much.
Thank you so much, April. It's been incredible. Thank you.
Yes, we'll talk soon. We'll
Okay.
talk soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Family, this is what ascending is all about. When she started breaking down, y'all have heard me because I'm here every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. When she started breaking down about the seed underneath the soil, I know y'all get tired of me saying it, but here it was unsolicited. So what a wonderful, wonderful conversation. We will have a part two. I'll let you know when I'm on her podcast. Like it's gonna be amazing, amazing. You all just watch something blossom organically and in real time. So shout out to all of our teams for making this happen. We need to do a good news report. We have more good news. The Asada Shakur Memorial, of which I am going to be rushing to in 2 minutes. I got to change and get dressed. We've been talking about it for a minute, but the memorial, the celebration of the life and legacy and all of the sacrifices and hard work and life lessons of Asada Shakur will be live streamed. It is happening today at the doors open at 3 p.m. I'm getting there early. It's at Riverside Church. If you didn't RSVP by now, I don't know that I'm not sure. But if you go to April R. Silver on IG, the information is on my link tree. You can go to linktree.com/April R. Silver. The RSVP link that you can click is there. So you can look at live stream is what I was trying to say. I think the program starts at 4, so I'll be there with fellow comrades, lifting up the life and legacy. So I wanted to share that it's live streaming. That's the bottom line. So family, on that note, we're going to totally close out. We thank you so much. We want to remind you that Mark Lamont Hill is available for your events, small and medium and large. Contact Drake@AKilaWorksongs.com. I am available as well as a speaker, as a moderator, as a panelist, as a keynote as well. Drake@AKilaWorksongs.com. We want to remind you to support the Mark Lamont Hill official on Patreon. Your dollars matter, and if you don't have dollars, you have a word. You can share that information. Please do. That matters. And even at this moment, remember to like and subscribe. To like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a member of this channel on YouTube. And I think we are now going to remind you to watch the playlist. We have 64 episodes now in the playlist. Watch them all. They're all food for the soul. So that's the ascending playlist on YouTube. I am on IG and Twitter and Facebook. Everywhere is April R. Silver. You can follow me there. Got new information as of 2 o'clock this morning, and on Akila Work Songs on all social media. And my website for the agency is AkilaWorksongs.com. Shout out to everybody who's watching, who's listening. We will see you next week. We thank you so much for your eyeballs, for your attention. We didn't get to all the comments. Woo, the comments were I don't see them, but I see the numbers a lot. But we thank you so much. We will be here next week on the first Saturday of June. That's my birthday month. We got a lot to talk about because it's going to be a Black Music Month. Until then, family, I adore you. Please come back. And until then, stay up.